Hi, my name's Amanda. I am a coach in a trance channel, and I've got a really incredible video for you today. Once a month, I host an event called the Expansion Experience, where a different being of light comes forward and I channel them for the group, and they talk about something different every single month. And then after that, they invite each person forward to receive one-on-one guidance and support directly from them. And this month, Paramahansa Yogananda came forward. For those of you who are unfamiliar with who he was a yogi and a guru and a monk. And he's known as the father of yoga in the West because he brought the power and his teachings of yoga and meditation to millions of people. And he came forward today to talk all about the power of meditation and how meditation is not simply for those of us who are looking to relax or for those of us who are looking to improve our psychic ability, but meditation is the gateway into expanding as a channel and being able to utilize the power of your divine channel in every aspect of your life in order to create a life that you really deeply desire, kind of the power of manifestation through the ability to channel the divine energy that's available inside of you that we don't always know how to access. And he takes each participant through a guided meditation with him in order to teach you how to access that for yourself and witness the discomfort inside of that. And I left that guided meditation in there for you so that you'd have a chance to follow along if you weren't able to make it. It is absolutely extraordinary. He brought forward a perspective that I had never thought of before, and I'm probably going to listen to it back a few times because it's pretty remarkable. I hope you enjoy this excerpt from this most recent expansion experience. And if you'd like to stay up to date on future experiences to be able to potentially check one out in the future, please visit my website, amandalaurenblau.com. Under the services tab, you'll find all the information there on how to register for future expansion experiences. And also you can submit your email address to my newsletter so that you can be the first to know about each future expansion experience, who I'm going to be channeling, and what the topic is going to be. Please enjoy.
Hello, welcome all. I am so excited to be here with you. And I believe that I have much to teach you today. And for this reason, I'm going to jump in. I made it my life's work to speak into the practice of how to move one's body in such a way that it connects to the spirit within. Because most of us go through this lifetime completely unaware of the part of us that lingers deep inside, the part of us that's calling out to feel that sense of connection, and the void that exists between who we are and the body that inhabit creates this feeling of longing that I know you understand when I speak into. The reason why you never feel satisfied inside of you is because you deny this aspect of you. This part of you that's desiring to feel this connection to who you are and what lies inside of that is connection to all that is. And the practice of meditation allows for this void to be filled. When you sit in stillness, you are no longer distracted by the world outside of you, and therefore you can focus on what lies inside instead. And what lies inside is the part of you that understands exactly what you want and knows every aspect of who you are, even the parts of you that you pretend to deny exist. And the reason why meditation allows for that connection is because you are setting the intention to create it. When you go about your life, you are distracted by the goings on around you. And what you desire in those moments is to be disconnected from you so that you can preoccupy yourself with whatever tasks lie before you. And this is simply the aspect of how this works. But the more you learn how to tap into who you truly are inside, this connection grows stronger and remains. And so there no longer has this connection to disconnection to reconnection taking place, which is what the beginner meditator has to learn. Is when you finish your meditation, your mind quickly returns to all of its priorities, and this connection from what lies within is lost. But over time, you start to learn how to remain connected to who you are, even outside of the meditation practice. And this is when you become unstoppable. Because when you remain connected to who you are, nothing outside of you dictates this. You see this for what it is, that you can remain in your sense of self, your identity intact, regardless of what anyone says or does, regardless of your circumstances, and regardless of what you believe to be better, worse, or the same. You see your mind as an aspect of your physical body that is not quite indicative of who you are. It is simply another biological aspect of being human. And you begin to notice when it starts to take over in a way that is not helpful. And this ability to separate you from all that lies outside of you, including the biological aspects of your physical body. That connection and that ability is built inside stillness because it requires stillness to find it. And inside of that stillness, you remember what's really there, what's really important, and where the breadth of your potential exists. It exists inside of the part of you that knows what it's capable of and that understands what's required of it in order to access that. And that in order to make the most inside of this human experience, you have to understand what the purpose of it is. Because oftentimes, the purpose in being here gets lost in the shuffle, in the everyday hustle. And that's why it does not feel fulfilling, my loves. The purpose in being here is to remember why you came here. And the reason why you came here was to reconnect to who you are so that you can experience who you are inside of this reality, regardless of what that looks like. But when you can experience it for what it really is, you realize that that connection to what you search for does not lie outside of you. And when you can come back to it anytime you want to, Nothing outside of you matters. And when nothing outside of you matters, then it's much easier to connect to the flow of life because you no longer feel the need to control it. You are simply existing inside of reality that flows through you. And the energy that exists inside of you gets to dictate this flow. And this is where your power to create comes from. We limit ourselves when we forget how the flow of energy works. Well, let me share with you my philosophy. You are made of energy. Every aspect of who you are vibrates at a frequency. And when you remember what that is, that connection to it grows stronger because the belief system that it cannot be taken from you is created and remains. And when you can come back to this truth of who you are and allow it to be what it is, then this energy reverberates out from you into the world around you. And you can mold it in whatever way you want because you see the truth of how it works. When you see pure open potential around you and that it doesn't matter the outcome of your choices, as long as you're satisfied inside of who you are, then the fear ebbs away. And when the fear ebbs away, your channel opens up fully. And when your channel opens up fully, you can access the divine power that can flow not only from you, but through you. And when you can allow your channel to be the vessel for this energy, rather than trying to do everything from the physical body's mind, which is so limited in its capacity, you become this vessel for unlimited power and potential. And this is when miracles happen. And for those of you who are doubting what I'm saying or who do not fully understand it, this is what I would like to guide you through today, is understanding how you've been operating from your biological mind and how that is so much more limited than the power that you can truly access when you let go of that aspect of you and trust the part of you that lies deeper within. And the reason why it can feel undesirable to go about life this way is because you do not believe in the capacity of your own divinity. You believe that if you release the reins of control, that your life will come crashing down and that you will not be able to work or make money, make a living and survive. But that is not at all what I'm trying to show you. I'm not telling you to quit your job and to no longer work your 9 to 5 and to give up on your earthly desires. In fact, I am showing you the opposite. I am showing you how the power of your energy and the potential within it can amplify those desires and bring them into your reality that much quicker, easier, and more powerfully. Your ability to create what you desire is limited when you do not trust in it. And your ability to create what's desired doesn't come from you as your human self. It comes through you as your soul self. And when you can marry the two together by fully embracing both aspects of you, then you amplify your potential 100-fold and more. So, what I'm asking you today is to give thanks to the part of you that has kept you alive and well until now, and also be willing to open up to and be curious about the other part too. I would like to lead you through an exercise so that you become reacquainted with this part of you. But it's going to require you to let go of control and your need to understand it. Because your need to understand things is coming from the desire to fully anchor into trust. It's difficult to trust something that you don't inherently understand. But sometimes, in order to understand something, you have to experience it first. And from the experience of it, you will come to understand it in a way that you couldn't before. So rather than trying to understand the process as it's unfolding before you, I ask that you relinquish that desire and surrender to the experience itself. Allow it to flow through you first. And once that's done, then I invite forward all of your questions. What I am going to ask you to do is trust in the process of becoming reacquainted to who you are so that you can learn how to be a clear vessel for what you want. Because that's ultimately what you're here to do, is recognize the challenge of living life without feeling connected to who you are. And then remembering that there's another way. And then once you can tap into this, recognizing the difference in how it feels and the outcome of it, and the inherent trust and sense of safety and fulfillment that brings when you are whole. And once this exercise is complete, I ask that you walk away from this experience and simply take away from it what it felt like to reconnect to who you are. And if the desire lingers to do it again, I invite you to do so often as you want. And if it simply does not call to you, then I bid you farewell and I fully accept that choice. I desire for you to sit in a comfortable position. And I would prefer that you do this seated rather than lying down. And this will become apparent in time. But I believe that doing this exercise seated will provide you with the ability to tune into who you are without the frequent need to escape it. Because when we do this lying down, we oftentimes become too comfortable inside of the reality that exists around us. And rather than staying focused, we gently depart for sleep's sake. And in this moment, I desire for you to remain focused in a relaxed, passive way, but one that will guarantee that you do not drift off before it is complete. I would love for you to sit in a position where you are sitting up straight with your hands on your knees. Your feet can be flat on the floor or they can be crisscrossed beneath you. But I want you to feel comfortable and at ease. And I want you to close your eyes and just witness what it feels like to sit in silence. Something that we don't give ourselves time to do. What is it about this practice of sitting in silence that doesn't feel appealing to us? The reason is because we don't feel productive inside of it. We're not learning anything. We're not doing anything. And it's not leading us anywhere or filling our space and time with entertainment, activity, and distraction. But what I would like to show you is that that is not entirely accurate, because you are doing many things when you sit here in silence. You are becoming reacquainted to all aspects of who you are, the parts of your biological brain that are screaming at you to get up and do something. Notice that. And I would like to invite you into a small little exercise with me. What do you notice inside of the discomfort in sitting here in silence? Does it feel, on the one hand, satisfying, but at the same time, there's an inkling of stress because you're wondering how long it's going to take? How long until this is over and I've done the thing and I can move on with my life and my day? Notice the two parts of you thinking opposite thoughts. Which one is you? You're observing them both, and they both exist there at the same time. Which do you identify with more? The part of this exercise that feels oddly peaceful, or the part that feels extremely uncomfortable? And as you witness these two parts, I ask of you, which part feels more resonant for you? Do you find yourself wanting to get up and leave? Or do you find yourself wanting to find peace in this moment? And regardless of which one feels more like you can see that they are at odds with one another. And the reason for this is because the mind does not like to be told what to do from the part of it that it fears most. And what I mean by this is that there is a part of you that knows something different, that the mind does not fully trust. And when it does not trust in something that it has never experienced, it's going to get very agitated. Notice that there is no peace inside of the mind when it is screaming at you that you are wasting your time because it has never experienced peace. There is no peace inside of the mind, my child. Peace does not exist there. That is the illusion when you have not built the connection back to who you are. I would love for you to take your focus away from the mind and into the heart. And sit here and breathe, focusing on your heart. Do you notice any screaming coming from the heart? Can you see that the mind grows a little quieter when you focus elsewhere? Inside of the heart, there is only stillness. There's so much peace there. Because that's what it desires for you. Peace and acceptance. And the ability to remember where it's found. I would like to guide you back into the present moment. I want you to bring your attention back to the chair on which you sit, the floor beneath your feet, and the room around you. And very slowly open your eyes. What do you notice about the mind now? Is it as busy as it was a few minutes ago? Or has it settled down a little bit? Do you notice that as soon as you focus on the mind, that the chatter starts back up again? All of the memories about what you should be doing and where you should be going. Do they come back quickly, or have they slightly remained more subdued due to the ability to refocus your attention on the heart? If it's possible to quiet the mind by a simple activity of redirection of your own focus, what does that tell you about who you are in relation to your mind? It tells you that you are not your mind. You are something else entirely because you have the ability to control it. And all this time, you have been allowing the mind to control you. And that's why you're so tired. It's challenging to live that way. What happens if you take a few minutes out of every day to connect back to who you are and remind yourself that you are not your mind? What would that do over time? Is it possible for the mind to be this quiet always? What if I told you yes, that it simply takes practice and repetition and trust? And when your mind is this quiet, what else is available for you? Clarity, truth. When your mind is this quiet, you can think, focus, and make decisions and move in a direction that feels so much more embodied. Notice how much you would trust yourself taking action from this quiet place. The mind, all of a sudden, wants to second guess the decision that you're about to make. And as soon as you start listening to the mind, oh, there's doubt. This might not be the right choice. Whereas 2 minutes ago, you were so sure. Is this the mind trying to regain control over something it doesn't understand? Peace. Do you see now how likely it is to move through this world from a different place when you are connected to who you are and the mind is not running the show? It is simply there to help you access the knowledge that you have accumulated, but it is not there to get in the way of how you decide to use it. This is the power of stillness, and it is deeply threatening to the part of you that doesn't feel safe inside of who you are. And over time, as you practice to find safety in the stillness, you become reacquainted to who you are. And you move forward inside of you in a new way, where the mind is simply a part of you that can come along for the ride, but it is not there to dictate who you are and what you do with your life. Because there's a part of you that's so much more powerful than that. I ask you to ponder what I'm showing you today. Take your time with it, play with it. And when you find yourself getting frustrated inside of these exercises, know that that's not you. That is your mind, frustrated with the part of you that knows something it doesn't, that has access to information that it doesn't, and it does not like to feel like it's in the dark. That is simply the organ that was built inside of your biological system, trying to protect you from any danger that it perceives to be there, in front of you, around you, and anywhere in your proximity. But when you are connected to who you are, you can plainly see that the only danger that exists is the part of your mind that's trying to convince you that it's there in the first place. Call upon me anytime you want to come back to you. And remember the power that lies inside of you and the desire that you have to access it more deeply and more fully inside of the stillness of who you are and what you could do with that energy potential.